A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Coming up tonight on the Ringside Report. WWE Draft planned for after Clash at the Castle.
Vince McMahon reportedly planned to bury Gunther.
Oh no, alive? WWE believe Netflix want Raw and Smackdown.
Karrion Kross teases Bray Wyatt's return.
WWE ecstatic at the record-breaking WrestleMania 39 ticket sales.
WWE attempting to steal talent from AEW.
British legend Mr. Blobby makes his wrestling... That's why I fucked up at the start. I was just doing a tribute to Mr. Blobby. He makes his wrestling debut.
Did Abraham Lincoln invent the chokeslam? Find out today.
Has A2theK lost their mind? Kane confirms in-ring career is over as he concentrates on being a full-time piece of shit.
Anthony Ogogo could be gone as he's headed to Progress Wrestling.
Anthony went all that coming up.
It's all coming up right fucking now, Carl.
And I can't fucking wait. Right, let's dive into it. So,
deep dive
into the WWE Draft. Now, according to a report from our friends at Fightful Select, many WWE talents believe that there's going to be a draft in the fall. And for people who aren't in America, that's the autumn. You know, when the leaves fall. So, yeah, several Raw stars currently are set for the first episode of SmackDown after Clash at the Castle on the 9th of September. So, many speculating that the draft is going to take place pretty much right after Clash at the Castle. They're also scheduled, SmackDown stars scheduled for both the 5th and 12th of September episodes of Raw as well. So, yeah, a lot of speculation going on. The draft might be coming shortly after, but it's also been noted as well that the WWE writers are working on several repackages to various talent. So, I think Max Dupree and T-Bar are both being speculated as possible candidates for repackaging. So, obviously, Max Dupree got brought back into the Maximum Male Models stuff, so that might not go ahead. But I know...
how many rebrandings is he going to get?
Who knows? But I know, obviously, T-Bar, that's a gimmick that...
He's been rocking that shit name for a while now. I think he's definitely due.
Yeah, he should go back to his old shit name, Dominic Drakovic, because that's so much better. But yeah, what you make of this then, Anthony? A draft coming soon.
I mean, yeah, it could work. I mean...
Close the window.
I don't want to be a big negative knobhead about this, right? Because I usually am, but I'm going to as well a little bit. But I'm all for it, except for the fact that it doesn't seem to fucking matter.
This is a very good point, to be fair. Even this week, we had Drew McIntyre rock up on Raw.
Yeah, and with shit like that, I'm like, does it, like... I get that you have people who turn up on one show and people who turn up on another, and they've probably never really switched. And you go, well, let's have the draft to move them around a little bit. But the reality is, if you get to a certain point in your WWE fame where you can be on whatever the fuck show you want. Or in Charlotte's case, you just, on every show at the same time, somehow.
Do you remember when we were very savage and were put a news story out there that she's showing up on AEW and people legitimately believed it?
But to be fair, that week she turned up on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT just because. And the reasons were getting stupid. Like, they never even stuck to the guns. That year, they were like, oh, it's an invitational from the net. Like, so USA Network have invited Charlotte over with the yearly invitational they can do or whatever. And then that was that. They never fucking invited anyone ever again.
No.
So
I mean,
what
stuff like that. Stuff like that has been the downfall of the later years of the draft, really, because we had loads of different things like that, didn't we? Where it was like certain wrestlers could make appearances so many times a month. It was like they're trying to find. They literally just need to own up to it and just eradicate the draft. Just have a roster of talent that is booked
the prime
across
example,
both shows.
Prime example, right? When the Dudley Boys were split up during the draft, brand splits, right? That was devastating, and it led to some big changes for both. For Devon, right? But then in recent years, the New Day was split up by the draft brand split, and it was like, it's fine. It'll be fine. You know, they'll all still support each other and rock up each other all the time, and we still had like, I think it was an episode of Raw where Kofi and Xavier still had Big E with them, and it's like, so it doesn't matter then, does it? No one really gives a fuck about the brand split, not even the wrestlers.
But it's just,
so for me, I'm all for the draft if they fucking stick to it.
Yeah, I'm proper anti-draft. I think it's done now. It's dead. You got a 3-hour Raw, so you know what I mean. Just 3-hour Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown. You got 5 hours there. You know your whole roster can work across both of them shows, and then you won't have to see the same matches repetitively every single fucking week. You know, they've been making a big fuss that we had AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley for the first time ever, or whatever it was, and it's like, well, do you know what? If you actually had your whole talent roster available to you, you wouldn't have to make a big song and dance about that, because that would happen, you know, a lot more frequently.
Honestly, another thing that I think personally affects the whole draft thing is that people from NXT can just get called up whenever the fuck they like.
Yeah.
So NXT aren't really a part of the whole draft, but you can always get new wrestlers in anyway. So again, like, what's the point in the draft? It's not like they've gone like, oh, here's an NXT talent up and coming, and the opposing brands have to like bid for them somehow or whatever. They don't treat it like a proper draft or anything like that, do they?
No.
It's just like, oh, there's a random day where we pick shit and then just do whatever we want after that.
Well, exactly. I mean, even today now, you've got obviously Roman holds both belts. The Usos hold both sets of belts. The women's tag titles, when they bring them back, can be defended across both. They're already halfway there, so just do it.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I wouldn't even mind if you had the brand split, except for titles. When you hold a title, you do both shows. I'd be fine with that. That's fine.
Yeah, it just needs to be binned.
Whatever, Carl.
Bin it. Bin it.
Stupid head. So the next one, Carl, and this might be a little bit of duh, but did you know that Vince McMahon allegedly, well, there's a lot of Vince McMahon allegedly, this is quite mild compared to a lot of the allegedly going around, but by all accounts, Gunther, or formerly Walter, following his appearance on Raw, so this would be back on the 7th of April, if I'm reading the dates right, and they're not American. I'm looking at WrestleTalk for those who are interested. WrestleTalk is UK based, so I'm assuming the date is the 7th of April, right? Because it was a while ago. But Gunther made an appearance on Raw before fully coming to the main roster, and a lot of people are suggesting, and by a lot of people I mean this particular website here, that following that appearance, those in power at the time actually really soured on Gunther, and you know, for whatever reason that they soured on him, they were actually going to do a burial on TV. That was the intent, and you know, this has been a surprising sort of turnaround for Gunther since Vince McMahon retired, and now obviously we've seen him sort of main event SmackDown for the IC title against Shinsuke. So we've seen it, you know, and this guy's done. He's been very much a company guy. I don't know what you think of him, Carl, but he's been very much a company guy in terms of, like, they've said to him, like, lose some weight, do this, do that, the next thing, and he's just fucking done it. And you know, some people can, like, again, the internet's a very negative place. They'd be like, oh, you shouldn't have had to, body positivity and all this. It's like, reality is, he's got in better shape because they've asked him to, you know, and whatever you make of that, he's doing what he can to be a top star in the company, and it seems to be that, you know, now that, you know, we're in the reign of Triple H, that, you know, it's good things for Gunther. But what do you make of this? Apparently Vince McMahon wasn't a big fan.
Vince McMahon, not a big fan. Yeah, probably good things, really. Otherwise, Gunther would have to go back to work in the Central Park, wouldn't he?
It's a real change in character for him, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a lot of plaudits, isn't he, for the work he's doing? I think he's fine. He's obviously a very credible wrestler. I'm not massively into his gimmick and his little lackey and all that kind of stuff that he's got going on, so I wouldn't say he's one of my favourites, but to be fair, he's different, he's got a unique style, and he is putting on some pretty decent matches. So, yeah, good thing he didn't get buried, but yeah, I'm not too sure how much further they're going to go or be able to take him as a character, but we will see.
We will see.
We will see. And speaking of things that we're going to see, we might be soon seeing Raw and SmackDown on Netflix. Believe it or not. Now, WWE hosted their kind of quarterly earnings call the other day, and co-CEO Nick Khan was quoted as saying, "We've been saying on these calls for many months that we believe Netflix is looking to enter the live space. We got confirmation of that this past quarter."
Live space.
I know. Sounds as shit as the fucking Thunderdome, doesn't it? We got confirmation of that this past quarter when Netflix made a bid for the rights for Formula One. We believe Netflix's appetite for live programming will only increase. So there's many a belief that WWE is going to be one of the properties that Netflix goes after.
Because if Netflix they want to have cars driving around in a circle, next step is definitely wrestling.
Well, it's pretty much, the same thing.
So I'm throwing shade at F1.
Yeah, it's because it's shit. Oh, that's right. I went there. Just driving around for a million laps. Who cares?
Put in a ramp, for God's sake.
You expect me to count all them laps? Who cares? But yeah, so
for you. They don't expect that much.
I can't read. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I think we've speculated over the years of potentially seeing WWE on Netflix, and it does sort of make sense, doesn't it?
I think it makes a massive bit of sense in terms of, like, let's be honest, Netflix is struggling a little bit at the moment. There's a ton of other streaming platforms come along, and they're getting kind of hurt by that. I mean, certainly over here in the UK, we've seen a lot of stuff disappear from Netflix, and a lot of the originals, for some reason, they went through a culture of cancelling them unless you were Stranger Things. And I don't know, for me, like, it's a good way of, like, possibly keeping some of that waning subscribership, because they've increased the prices and provided not a great deal more content, in all fairness. I'm sure someone will come at me for that. Oh, what about Resident Evil? It's shit. That's what about it. Anyway.
Damn, shots fired. But, I mean, we've seen the likes of Amazon Prime do, like, they've partnered with the Premier League, for example, and they have got
they've got the soccer, haven't they?
A package of, don't call it soccer.
I'm trying to trick you.
They've got, obviously, a certain package of footy games, lad, that we get to watch on Prime as well, and obviously they've been really successful for them. So it does make sense for Netflix to start exploring that live space, because, as you say, there's only so many series and there's only so many IPs that they can get. Where I think a lot of stuff on Netflix is obviously really piss poor, thrown together movies that they release, or box sets of things that you've seen a million times before. So having live entertainment, especially if they're trying to go down this exciting, well, exactly, or The Office, it's like all we ever seem to watch.
I'm actually watching through The Office again at the moment, so
exactly. So yeah, it's just one of those. I think.
Right. What does that do for the whole Peacock thing?
See, because it's an interesting one.
Even we've kind of got Peacock now, because they're sort of buddied up with Sky. So if you're a Sky subscriber, you get Peacock content. So whilst we haven't got the streaming service properly, we have. So you go, well, there's tons of avenues for, like, that WWE content to be available through the Peacock side of things, through Sky. But I mean, there's a load of contract shit on the English side of things, because I think BT very famously got a contract for the live shows, and WWE were talking about it like it was a big deal. No offense to BT, but bit of a downgrade.
Could be worse. Could be on ITV2 like AEW is. They cut off the show.
You get BT Sport with your fucking cereal. Yeah. Oh wow! What have I won today? Like, it's not. It wasn't quite the accolade they thought it was, but I'm not. I'm not being thinking about BT. But you wonder. You wonder though, like, is there a lot of, like, deals coming to an end or something for this to be a possibility for Netflix? Because, like, that's going to affect Peacock, surely. It's going to affect BT, etc. Depending on whether they only do it in America. I don't know, but
they're massively raking it in from Fox and USA at the minute, aren't they? Who are obviously broadcasting SmackDown and Raw. So the thing that they have to consider is, like, because I was thinking this, wouldn't they just air it themselves on their own platform? But then I was like, well, they wouldn't be getting all those massive amounts of money. But then, as you've said, it's via Peacock now, so technically NBC would have to pay them for the rights for the live shows, so they would still get a shitload of money. So it's just whether or not Peacock want to do that. I don't really get how the network works in America anymore. Because for us, it's very simple. We just got the network. But now it's like, you can get the network on Peacock. And it's like, what? So is it just similar to like a show that, you know what I mean? Because you've got a whole network library within a network library.
I think it works similar to the way, like, because Amazon do it to us now, where you can subscribe to Paramount Plus through Amazon, and it's like a channel on their platform. Because Paramount Plus are a thing now.
Of course, yeah. Because
you know the way you used to be able to watch South Park for nothing, Carl?
Oh, yeah.
Now it's behind a paywall. Yeah.
Of course it is. Like, literally, it's so funny. Like, the whole cable debacle, there's just so many channels and nothing on. It's like, there's so many fucking streaming services with so many things with nothing on. Like,
the annoying thing is, some fucking genius eventually is going to come along and go, what if we had one streaming service with all the content? It's like, yeah, that's what you should have fucking had anyway.
I mean, it's stuff like this. Like, I don't know why I keep talking about football, but it's like, imagine the Premier League. Like, you've got, some matches are on Sky Sports, some are on Prime, some are on BT, some are on fucking, I don't know, whatever other channel. Imagine the Premier League just went, here's our streaming service, and you can watch all the games. Everyone would go, fucking yes, I don't have to pay a Sky Sports, you know what I mean? But
I mean, you say everyone.
Oh, well, anyone. Well, you shut up.
I'd be like, I'm cool. No, thanks. Anyway. Well, let's not delve into streaming services, but yeah, it's interesting, and honestly, I would be thrilled, because if they did it and it was for the UK as well, I've already got Netflix, so that works for me.
Yeah, well, everyone does, or at least they've got someone's login, and they can watch it that way.
No, you can't do that anymore, Carl. No one,
cracking down on it.
Definitely no one does that.
The funny thing is, though, I don't even do that, but I know so many people who's just like, who's watching, and it's like fucking 20 different profiles or whatever, and it's like, damn.
Look, I know some people might, but I wouldn't do that. Right? Because that would be wrong and against their terms of service.
It would.
Probably. Because that was another thing, like, they increased the price and I went, like, we're going to stop password sharing. It's like, you just, do you want people anymore, Netflix?
No.
You forget they're what's making you money, right? It seems to be going out of the way to piss people off lately.
Well, that's it. Mm.
Anyway. Should we talk about some other stuff?
Cool.
Okay. So, Carl, did you know TikTok star Karrion Kross is... Come on. No?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
So, he keeps hinting lately at possible Bray Wyatt return. Now, this isn't without some foundation, but it's interesting that Karrion doing it. So, he did quite recently. He's put up a fan-made main event image for Clash at the Castle, which they've changed the main event to a fatal four-way between Wyatt, Roman, and Drew, and himself. And people are like, because obviously he shared that and like that, people are like, ooh, he's hinting at something, blah blah blah. And then I think he quite recently, I can't remember how he put it out there, but he put another little playful suggestion of like himself and Scarlett going up against Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. So again, people are like, oh, he's hinting, he's coming back, and people loving the idea. And yeah, I think he got asked as well by somewhat, fuck it, I don't matter who it was, but they were asking about Kross versus Wyatt as a match, and he welcomed the idea of such a match, which is interesting because I don't. Like, even if Wyatt comes back, is that really a good thing for Karrion? Like, Wyatt's character, let's say he went with The Fiend, right? The Fiend is a much more fleshed out and intimidating figure than Karrion Kross, isn't he? So,
well, he hasn't got an hourglass, though, has he?
It's going to be great to put them against each other, though.
I
don't know. Anyway.
I don't know who would play the babyface in that either. I imagine it'd be Wyatt.
Yeah. But... Don't be wrong, it could work. I'm just curious how it would work, But this isn't without some foundation, Carl, because we've had initial reports from Frightful. Why do I say Frightful?
You always call them Frightful.
Frightful Select, who suggested that there's been internal discussions about bringing Bray Wyatt back. Now, this isn't, this is a foregone conclusion, but there seems to be definitely some, interest, or WWE are definitely pursuing that avenue. And I think it was Wade Keller of PW Torch, yeah, definitely said that right. I'm second guessing myself now. As noted that WWE is saying that Bray is likely to be back in WWE soon. So it seems like it's almost like not a case of if, it's a case of when. But again, like, would you want to put him up against Karrion? Or another suggestion is that they're going to be in some sort of faction together. Would you want that either? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to connect the two. Not just yet, anyway. I mean, Karrion's got a fair bit of work to do on the main roster first, as far as I'm concerned. But interesting to say the least. He seems to be being a big old tease on social media, Carl.
Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, he could just be showing a preference for that's what he would like, and he'd love to work with Bray in the future, kind of thing. To your point, whether or not that's something they go ahead with and book and pursue, who knows? But yeah, I can't personally see it anytime soon.
When you consider like the similar but not similar in terms of character, for me, the logical sense for WWE is to have one on Raw and one on SmackDown.
Yeah, except I want to eradicate the brand split, so that wouldn't work either.
They're not doing that though, are they? They're going to carry on with the Bash at the Castle.
But yeah, if anyone wants to, find more news about this anyway, they can always check Frightful Select.
Frightful. You're home for horror content.
I mean, you're talking about The Fiend and Karrion Kross, so it does kind of work in this instance.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Exactly, it was planned. So the next one to talk about, Anthony, is again on the earnings call this week. Triple H has revealed that WWE have sold more than 90,000 tickets for WrestleMania 39 within the first 24 hours of tickets being on sale. So obviously this is more than any event in WWE history and a 42% increase over the first day sales for WrestleMania 38. He went on to say that 39 is roughly 80% sold out for an event that's still 8 months away, with no matches announced for night 1 or night 2. He touted how in 40 years WWE has never sold that many tickets to a WrestleMania event, and that quickly, and that those record numbers are leading to sellouts with passionate fans for both nights. Now, he's right in what he's saying, but
Good, thanks for
that. But the reason why he's right in what he's saying is because we've only had 2 night WrestleManias for the last 3 years, and 2 of those years we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Easy.
So really, is it that difficult, to top the best days? Go, oh, we've sold 90,000. Yeah, because it's 2 nights. You've sold 45,000 tickets per night. And that's a low WrestleMania attendance.
That's disappointing. So it's it almost inflation of figures, isn't it? To say, let's top them both up together. It's like, well, you couldn't do that with previous WrestleManias, so of course you've outdone it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a typical marketing bamboozling going on. How dare you, Triple H? He knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the game. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I'm massively looking forward to this one, and I'm sure I'm going to be massively let down as well. But the fact that they're calling it WrestleMania Hollywood and stuff, and there's all this, people alluding to The Rock versus Roman and stuff like that.
I'm super excited. It's WrestleMania Hollywood, so you have to have Hollywood Hulk Hogan there. Maybe hosting it alongside someone. Maybe hosting it alongside someone to prove that he's not racist. Have we done that yet?
Maybe it's Hogan and Will Smith. And Will Smith just slaps the shit out of him.
Love it.
Maybe we can make that happen.
No, Will's apologised for his slapping ways. He doesn't do that anymore. He's retired, man.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm massively intrigued because obviously it's the Hollywood thing. I think they're going to go massively in on the celebs. Guarantee Logan Paul's going to be there. Bad Bunny's probably going to be there. Austin will probably be there. The Rock.
They go massive on the celebs, so we're going to get Logan Paul and Bad Bunny again.
They're huge. Huge.
What else have we had in the past? Fred Durst, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
He's still rolling. And
we'll definitely have Flo Rida there.
The audience.
To sing a
song. Rock in the audience.
Make sure he makes out with his wife. That's what everyone wants to see.
I hope the weekend's not busy for that weekend.
Yay.
Who else have we got? Who else is in the usual stable of people that WWE will?
Do you know what? I'm actually surprised, and maybe this already is a thing, and I'm just losing my marbles. I'm surprised they haven't gone and done a proper halftime show at WrestleMania yet, because they do always call it their Super Bowl. I know we've had performances.
Don't do it, Carl. Don't suggest it. If you put it out in the ether, it's not going to come back. Stop it.
Just saying. So, yeah, interesting.
Because now we're going to get Katy Perry, aren't we? That's what's going to happen. She's going to ruin the WrestleMania with a halftime show.
Really? Katy Perry would ruin your WrestleMania?
Look, right.
You've changed. That's all I'm saying. You've changed.
Fine. Whatever.
So yeah, so
I'm not going to watch the halftime show on mute. Are you?
Terrible. So yeah, so we've been hoodwinked,
You don't know
Anthony.
a single one of their fucking songs.
Anthony, if you carry on, you're going to hear me raw. That's what I'm saying.
Nice.
You know, I'm a firework. Let me show you bubble bursts.
Are you too quick off the draw with this? I'm trying to think of songs she's done. You're being hot and you're cold, you man. There you go,
man,
good one.
She's just, I mean, it's Hollywood as well. She's a California girl. That's the song, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. Weirdly with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, he'll be there. He'll definitely be there. He's everywhere.
He might not know he's there, but he'll be there.
That is true. So yeah, so we've been bamboozled, Anthony. We've been hoodwinked. It's all a lie. Best ever record-breaking sales because you're not really comparing them like for like. Yeah, bastards. That's that one.
Okay. So the next one, Carl, is a fairly quick one because there's not a lot of info on who said it, why it was said, etc. However, an interesting one is that Frightful Select reported that a source close to AEW has told them that a notable AEW, see this is getting a bit hearsay here, a notable AEW talent who is under contract with the promotion has had WWE reach out to them, and they've informed AEW management that WWE had reached out to them about coming to WWE. So it seems WWE approaching. I know, right? Now WWE said, "Nah, we wouldn't want that grass." But yeah, it seems that WWE might be in the poaching game business. Game might have worked better because Triple H. But what do you make of this? WWE might be actively going after some contracted stars. That's crazy.
Interesting. I don't know.
WWE would do that, surely.
I don't know who they could go after. The AEW contract actually means something. You know, they're actually honoured. So,
you come to us and maybe you get fired in 90 days.
Well, exactly. You know, whose contract's coming up to an end? Like immediately, you think of Triple H's boys. You'd think of Adam Cole or Keith Lee or people like that. But they've only just recently signed. So you kind of think, well, who's a Triple H guy that's gone over there that is contract coming up to an end?
Do you know what would actually be a bit of a painful one for AEW, and I don't know how long his contract is?
Go on.
Malachi.
Yeah, actually, that's a fair shout. Maybe even Miro.
Either of them a bit like Miro, probably not so much, but Malachi, they're absolutely killing it with the House of Black at the moment. So I think that would be a devastating one. Plus, his missus is already over in WWE. I think. Like I've not seen her in a while. I heard a fake British accent, but I'm sure she's still there.
And he looks like a fucking snitch as well. It was definitely him, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Tony. Hunter called me.
I don't know, you almost veered into Scandinavian for a sec there. I don't know why.
I mean, what is a Scandinavian accent? I don't even want to try and butcher that by giving it a terrible impression.
I might just throw out wild accent suggestions just to see if you try them.
It
sounded Norwegian then.
I think it sounded more like the pig from Shrek. He huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
That almost came out like Glaswegian there.
Yeah, I've been told that before. So yeah, fascinating one. I don't know who it could be, but interesting that they're going after people already contracted. So we'll see. We will see. Snitches get stitches, so we'll keep our eyes out. That's all I'm saying. So the next one, Anthony, it's a dream in the making. An iconic British children's TV character has set their sights on the world of wrestling. The one and only Mr. Blobby himself.
Mr. fucking Blobby.
Mr.
This guy,
fucking Blobby.
If he doesn't go on to be a multi-time world champion, I will be shocked.
Fucking glorified, bona fide Hall of Famer, this fella, right? But he appeared at House of Pain Wrestling at Glowworm Festival at Thorsby Park. No idea where the fuck that is. Over this past weekend, as what's been described as a chaotic experience. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have this on my 2022 bingo card, Anthony. Did you?
No, definitely not. This is if you were playing the wrestling drinking game, this would definitely be a shot right here.
Shot in the fucking dark, if you would have predicted that. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, who knows? Triple H is signing everybody at the minute. Maybe he'll be one of the latest signings. A little appearance of Clash of the Castle on the cards, maybe.
We can only dream.
Mm.
So yeah, that's you're going all pixelated. Sorry, I shouldn't say that on air.
You can see yourself
coming in.
fixing.
But for those who don't know,
I paused. Anyone doesn't know why. So yeah, Mr. Blobby.
Yeah,
legend.
Not known for his talking, but well, it kind of is actually. May have fucked that up a little bit.
Well, you call that talking?
I wouldn't have said his promo skills were on point, but he probably is known for his talking.
Yeah, still got better promo skills than Ricochet. That's all I'm saying.
Savage. Speaking of savage, I don't know, weird segue. We've got some wild news this week. I'm actually quite proud of our news this week because it's just fucking weird, right? But the next one, Carl, would you believe? Abraham Lincoln, that's right, one of the most famous presidents of the US, allegedly invented the chokeslam. What? So that's right. So wrestling, was around before the McMahons, believe it or not, and is thought to go as far back as the 1800s, Carl. Now, this basically has been suggested by, apparently previously, like WWE have even mentioned this sort of little bit of lineage, this little bit of history. But apparently, Abraham Lincoln, back when he was a humble store worker, was a keen wrestler, and in his free time, he would partake in a bit of wrestling to the point that he got a little bit of notoriety for it. And the claim that he invented the chokeslam actually stems from a match that he was challenged to by some locals. So we're talking back in the 1800s, so I won't bother with the names. I'll give you the full article towards the end of this because it is worth the read. So he'd apparently been heard bragging about his wrestling prowess and was challenged to a match. And basically that's where he is alleged to have grabbed his opponent by the throat, lifted him in the air, and held him there for a few seconds. And obviously the rest is history. The chokeslam was born. And this was just such a wild fucking read that I was like, we have to mention this. This is crazy.
That is mental.
So I will, for those who are interested, and we'll put the link in the description this time. We don't normally link our sources. We may mention it or whatever. We don't normally link them, but I want people to read this. It's fucking wild. So this was reported by the Sportster, and there's a nice article on there. There's even an image of I'm sure it's not a real one. I'm sure it's a drawing or something. There's even an image of him chokeslam or someone, which is fucking brilliant. But what do you make of this craziness, this absolute insanity?
Well, I mean, it's got to be true, hasn't it? He's honest, Abe. He doesn't tell a lie, this fella. So, yeah.
Do you think Donald Trump's a bit pissed off that Abe might have had an earlier connection to wrestling than he did?
Yeah, Trump's just an imitator, isn't
he? He actually trumped him. If you. So yeah, there's not a lot to this one, Carl. It's fucking weird and wonderful, and it needs to be read. But Abe Lincoln, chokeslam inventor, right there.
Love it.
Also, as well, apparently.
So the next one to touch on is, and if we must, it's such a shame. I used to like Kane, but yeah. So Glenn Jacobs, mayor of Knoxville. Is he just mayor of Knoxville? Is he mayor of all of Tennessee? I don't really know. But he appeared on.
He's not mayor of Dudleyville.
That is true. He appeared on The Right View with Laura Trump. And he stated that as a 55-year-old, he is okay with never taking a bump again, indicating that he's pretty much done as an in-ring performer. So he's quoted as saying, "Yeah, I actually don't do that much anymore. Don't want to get into a wrestling ring and actually get knocked down because I don't know if I could get back up at this point. But yes, I still do things occasionally." So yeah, as we kind of said in the headlines, he's essentially going to turn his attention now to just continuing his endeavours as being a massive bellend. So best of luck. Best of luck with that. You prick.
That's the side of the fence we're a family on. Yeah. No splinters on our ass.
Nope. But we don't do politics on the show, so.
No, I mean, to be fair though, when he's out there talking about you know what? Let's not.
Yeah, we can't. Last time we did this, we spent about 20 minutes talking about politics, so let's not.
I know. And we don't. This is not what we do. But he's made some questionable comments in the past. Let's say.
Yeah. All I say is the wonder of the world is gone. I know for sure that Glenn Jacobs is a bellend. So yeah.
Yeah. And a necrophiliac. That's right.
Yeah, we haven't forgot about
that. Anyway, Carl. The last one. Anthony Ogogo. Now, I don't know how you felt about him. Right? But he had potential. We didn't get a lot from him. He had this feud with Cody. And this is sort of the thing, really. He's been signed with AEW. I think we had the Anthony Ogogo is All Elite, so I think he was signed with AEW. And he had his feud with Cody Rhodes, and essentially hasn't really been seen on TV since. So, what's happening? Well, apparently, Progress Wrestling, Carl, announced during their show at Newcastle that Anthony Ogogo will make his return to the UK promotion on August 28th.
Ooh.
So, it's going to be at the Electric Ballroom in London, if you plan on going. I don't know. But he's going to be going one-on-one with Callum Newman for Progress Wrestling. So it's led people to speculate, was he done with AEW? As far as we're aware, he's still signed with the company. But again, hasn't been seen for a while and is now over in the UK wrestling for Progress. So what is the deal with Ogogo? Is he a gone? Sorry, really bad one, but I had to.
Wake me up, Anthony Ogogo.
So what do you reckon? Do you reckon we've lost Ogogo to Progress?
I mean, I don't know. AEW talent have often been open to, or allowed to work for different companies and stuff like that. Maybe he's just back in the UK after
it's the
travel restrictions.
That's the thing. I suppose it's the journey element of it, isn't it? Over in the UK, there's chances are you're not going to be on AEW TV anytime soon. So,
well, exactly.
I think it's more that side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't nothing's been announced. There's been no kind of insight that he has left, but still a pretty decent coup for Progress. Obviously, he was out for the Love of Wrestling, wasn't he? He was a late replacement for somebody who had to cancel. I can't remember who now. But he was there, wasn't he, in the ring and involved with Progress team while he was there. So obviously he's still quite close to them as a company, and it could just be that he's around, and so he'll do them the favour of being on the show.
Nice.
But it is an interesting one. He has had a pretty lackluster time in AEW with the weigh-in segment and stuff like that, which he's also come out and said he absolutely fucking despised as well. I mean,
again, I know people love Cody and people defend Cody, and Cody's never made a mistake according to some people, but not getting the Ogogo not getting a win over him just didn't make any sense to me.
No,
he totally set it up that way, and it was like, nah, Cody's gonna win because everyone loves Cody. Turn heel. Just turn heel. Still haven't done it. You went to another company to avoid turning heel. Just turn heel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Slightly different. Maybe that's a seg 3 in itself. Maybe we need to do a segment on Cody and why you should turn heel.
I like it.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to see more from Ogogo. I think having that bigger platform of AEW is a good thing, and he had bags of potential. It's just a shame that nothing's really come of it since that feud.
Indeed. Well, yeah, that was another fun-filled episode of the Ringside Report. We brought you all the news this week, the crazy news, the political news, and a little bit, what's going on in the wrestling world as well.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And Kane.
Yeah. The good, the bad, and the cunty. So thanks for listening to the Ringside Report. If you haven't already, check out This Week in Wrestling, where we give our thoughts on all the happy haps in WWE and AEW, as well as obviously AEW that's taking place tonight, so we give a little bit of thoughts on that. And also stay tuned for our early match predictions for Clash at the Castle. And until next week, here is the one and only Griff Garrison to say bye.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A2theK.
A2theK.
A2theK.